Record.
Hi, everyone. This is Will, aka Dr. Financial Literacy. Today, going back to one of the credit cards and how to pay it down using velocity banking. This is theoretical in the sense that I haven't done it yet. We're just into the month of May, so this is what I expect to do. This Navy Federal card is just the last remaining card that I have above 1,000 dollars and it sits at 52.12. So for May, I'm gonna go ahead and start velocity banking on this baby right here and go ahead and see how it works on getting it down. In the previous videos, I looked at some of the other credit cards that initially I started with Wells Fargo card 7,596 with a credit limit of 7,500. So I was over the limit. I was able to get that card down, then started working down on multiple credit cards until I got down to now the Navy Federal. The Navy Federal was kind of I think a holdout because I've been using other strategies with the other cards, particularly from Navy Federal. I've taken cash advance from Navy Federal of like 1860 and used it to pay down other cards because it had a lower interest rate. In fact, this interest rate on the card is 18%. And when I take a cash advance, there are no fees, there are no extra charges. There's just the 18% as the regular card. So I've used this card in the past to pay down some of the previous cards by pulling off about $2,000. And in pulling it off cash from the card, I've then used the Navy Federal to go card. So what I've done is when I had this account and I still had it, I would go do a cash advance of about 1860, put the cash on the Navy Federal to go card, and then take that over to one of the other cards and pay it down in general. So this is the Navy Federal to go card. All right, so to get started with this theory, again, just looking at it from a theoretical perspective, I haven't done it yet. I'm looking to get my two paychecks onto Navy Federal and see how it works. Because it's not easy to do overdraft, I think maybe through Navy Federal. That's why it's been a last card for me to attack. But as of today, the balance is 50, as of my last statement balance, it was 52.12. All right, so to get started, income as usual going in $3,390. That's about $1,689 from my employer every 2 months. Generally, I've had a cash flow of $390. I think that's a little bit higher now because with the HELOC that I received in April, I was able to pay down some debt, free up some capital. So I'm still working through the budget. So I think this cash flow should go up once I settle some things on my credit report and push it up. There's $3,000 in expenses. This credit card has a payment of 146. And as Velocity Banking points out, when you put your check in, it constitutes as a payment. So here in box one, you can see I have $3,000 in expenses, the payment of 146 for this balance, and then that'll leave $2,854 in expenses. Again, $3,000 initially for my monthly expenses, minus the 146, because when my check goes in here, this is a paycheck. So when my paycheck go in to the account, it acts as a payment and it reduces my overall expenses. So then that means the expenses that I will come out of the card will be $2,854. So that's the credit card payment. Now, also in looking at velocity banking, you're generally looking at the average daily balance. And on the credit cards, it is called, I think the principal, um, the average daily balance. Yes, the average daily balance subject. Well, they don't call it average. They just call it balance subject to interest rate. So balance subject to interest rate. The interest rate on this card is 18%. So to get my dollar per daily rate, I'll multiply the balance, which was 552.12, by 30 days in the month, according to the statement. That was about $2.56 a day. And that resulted into $76.90 in interest, which is rounded off to this number right here. So to look at just a breakdown, the payment on this card for this particular month was $141.85. $76.90 went toward interest, so $64.95 went toward the principal. If I just made my regular monthly payment and I just rounded that off to 65, rounded that off, if I made my regular monthly payment, then what would come out the principal would only have been $65. So that would have gave me a new payment of about $5,147. However, with velocity banking, in just 1 month, I ended up with a principal balance, or I should end up with a principal balance of $47.43. So that's a big difference. If I just made my regular payment, only $65 would go toward the principal, $76 would go toward the interest, and that would probably still give me a balance of $5,147. Now over here, let's just run through it all together. So the balance of the card as it stands now for my June, and looking at the statement, yeah, and looking at the statement, my due date is, and looking at my statement, my due date is 6/1/2024. So 5/12 minus my paycheck going in, 3,390, two paychecks. That leave me with 1,822. Then I'm going back and putting my expenses in minus the 146 payment that is being made by this. And then I'm putting in interest on 5212, which is about $2.56 a day and about 77 cents in interest. So that should give me an ending balance of this month of 47.43. So again, thank you for stopping by. This is theoretical. I haven't did this yet, but this is what I'm looking to do in May. This has been Will, aka Dr. Financial Literacy. Really appreciate you stopping by. Really appreciate you stopping by. And for now, as I said it earlier, I'm looking at Navy Federal credit card. This is pretty much this is the last card that I have that's above $1,000. I've been able to reduce a lot of the credit card debt in general. So yeah, velocity banking, accelerated banking, and what I call VAB, velocity accelerated banking, is taking both together, but also looking at it from a political, economic perspective, academic perspective, and a practical perspective. If you'd like to work with me, I'd love to have you as a part of clientele. You can have my contact information and cell phone number is there. Give me a call. Let's see what we can do. Thank you very much. You have a great day.